Hi there, I'm Javed. I have like 10 plus years of software engineering experience. Here I talk about software engineering, coding, things I'm building. Today in this video, I'll be sharing like how I switched from a service-based company to a product-based company, like how I studied, how I prepared, all those things. If you go to the product-based, you need to understand few things before applying into the product-based company. First, how do we get a call from companies, okay? To do that, you need to be very active on LinkedIn. What you need to do is start writing something about your projects, what you're experiencing in your day-to-day life, all those things. Make a small post and then start posting it on X and then LinkedIn. These two are the main platform which I found very useful to get a job. If you go on a job search and just press the apply now button, it's very difficult to get recognized or even get a call back from the recruiters. When you need to come under the radar of recruiters, how can you do that? By posting your work. As soon as you start posting, LinkedIn will start promoting, X will start promoting your account to different people who are interested in that kind of work. He or she might be like very good at their craft, they are very active on the LinkedIn posting about their work, they have done this kind of stuff, so they want to hire people like that, especially in product based companies. Okay, so that's one aspect. That's how you get a visibility on your profile. That's how you tell the industry that you exist. So make sure that post something. If you don't know what to post, you can go on ChatGPT, tell about your domain, and then ask ChatGPT to give the post to write on the LinkedIn. Do that also. That is also fine. Any kind of boost, any kind of visibility on the platform is much appreciated, and it is going to help you in long run. So you have to start doing that as soon as you decide to shift the company. You never know when you'll get a call. You don't know whether you might get a call in a day or it might take a year. That's the time frame. But you shouldn't lose the motivation. You have to be very disciplined about this, and then make sure you make yourself visible. If you don't do this first step properly, no matter how knowledgeable you are, even if you're able to crack Google's interview, you won't even get a chance to showcase your skills. So make sure to build in public, make sure to showcase your work in public. Okay, let the world know that you exist in your domain and you're good at it. Okay, that should be your main goal. That should be the highest priority, first priority. Now comes the second part. Since I'm an iOS developer, what I do is simple prompt. Go to the ChatGPT. In the chat, just type that act like a senior iOS developer. You can change that iOS developer to your domain, but I'm just giving you an example of how I search or how I set up my ChatGPT. Okay, I just type act as a senior developer and help me to prepare for interview of a senior developer. That's it. Once you set that one, it will be completely concentrating on that domain. As soon as you're done with the first prompt, second prompt, ask it to give the list of topics which I should be knowing. Just mention your experience level. Once you're done with that, it will give you all the concepts. Then choose one concept and then ask it to give the interview question, just like actual interview is happening. Take some time to understand the concept. If you still don't know the answer, ask it to give the answer. Do this half an hour every single day. By the time you get calls from the recruiters, you will be well versed and well prepared in your domain. And also make a note of what all the questions are there, because scrolling through all the questions while there is an interview to just revise the concept is very difficult. So make a note of the concept, make a note of question and answers in separate notebook. If you have an interview, just have a glance of all those questions. Okay, and then while interviewing, there is a huge chance that you might not be able to get a call directly from a product based company, but a service based company started approaching you. I suggest you take the interviews of every recruiter. Whether you join a company or not, it's not going to matter, but the more you practice the live interviews will help you to understand what industry is expecting. I'll tell you how. Okay, what I observed during this 10 plus years of experience, initially when I was a junior developer, my questions were completely different. When I moved to 3 to 4 years, the questions started becoming really difficult. And now at 10 plus years of experience, I mostly get DSA questions. Okay, so that's how the industry is changing. Now because of AI, what recruiters or interviewers are asking is completely different. Previously, when I was giving interviews before the AI era, you know how the interviews were happening? So recruiter gives me a question, I need to take my time to understand it, to solve it. I have to properly code it and get the output out of it. That is the traditional way of going through an interview process. But now, since the AI is there, since the cheating is happening a lot, So what they are expecting is you to not to write a code but do a pseudo coding. Show them that you know the concept. Even they don't care about the output, they don't care about the syntax. Okay, even the program is wrong, that is also good. They'll ask you to write in a simple English. So that's what I have experienced in my previous interview. So the world is changing, you have to adapt to it. So I suggest don't cheat. Learning something is very easy if you put enough amount of time into that. When I was giving interviews, when I was planning to shift from a service based to a product based, my intention were not to go to a product based but to switch a job with a good hike. That was my goal. Product based is a cherry on top of it. I was very active on LinkedIn and people started noticing that, and I started getting the calls from recruiters, but most of them are service based. In those companies, I was able to clear 2 offers, and then I was able to negotiate properly because I already had 2 offers. Make sure that you get an offer irrespective of whether you are in service based or a product based and trying to switch to some other company. First, get an offer that will help you to negotiate properly to the other company. If you have like a 30 LPA and if you get a service based company, you can literally ask 40 to 45 LPA, right? Because you already have an offer. So that will give you a leverage to negotiate properly. Let's revise what we learned. First, you have to be very active on LinkedIn. Post something about your work. If you're not able to think about anything, just use ChatGPT to create post and post it on LinkedIn, and every single day, at least one post. Make sure of that. That's very important step. And also remember that if you're applying to product-based companies and you want to get into product-based companies, make sure that your DSA is good. If you can learn your target is Google, well and good. Go and solve a lot of lead code problems. You don't need to go and solve too many DSA questions. There is one particular collection of questions which I solved. There are like 100 questions. That's it. It's available on lead code. I'll share the link in the description. Make sure to check that one out. Make sure your DSA is proper, not at the pro level, but at least medium level where you can like go through the problem, at least think of a solution, spend some time and then come up with some kind of logic for that. Even if it's a right answer or a wrong answer, that's fine. Many recruiters don't care about the answer, but the ability to understand or have a habit of thinking to solve a problem. That's what the recruiters are looking for, okay? It takes like 20 to 30 minutes per day. So it's not a huge time which you'll invest apart from your day job. Do this thing every single day and you will definitely see a good result. This is how I prepare. This is how I'm able to shift to 6 different companies. I make sure that I spend a good amount of time in learning new concepts, making my fundamentals very strong. So simple rule, very straightforward, nothing fancy, nothing complicated. Everything is very easy if you follow a proper pattern. That's it. Make sure to use AI to get your fundamentals straight. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video.